So, I remember the last video of the day, we got 6 most disturbing moments caught on live TV footage by the Chilling Scares.
On the 30th of June 2025, a reporter named Linildo Frazão went live from the Miriam River in Brazil to cover a tragic incident that happened there just a day earlier. In the early hours of June 29, a group of teenagers had decided to go for a swim in the river. Unfortunately,
Well,
they underestimated its depth, resulting in the disappearance of 13-year-old Raíssa Fernandes. Seconds after entering the water, her friends watched her dip beneath the surface, and that was the
they ain't
last
help
time
her?
anyone saw her alive. Divers
Damn.
looked for her underwater, while rescuers scoured the riverbank, hoping she might have washed ashore somewhere. But even after hours of searching, Raíssa was nowhere to be found. Lineal Do intended to use this broadcast as an opportunity to educate
Damn.
viewers on the dangers of river
Did he
currents
find
and
her
general river safety,
on the
not
TV?
knowing that he was about to solve the mystery of Raíssa's disappearance on live TV. He took
He
off his
found her?
shoes and started slowly walking into the river while talking about the sudden increase in depth and how dangerous it can be for inexperienced swimmers.
Quanto mais você desce, mais fundo fica.
So, the further you
Ó,
go
ó,
down, the
aqui,
deeper
ó.
it gets. Look right here.
Até que aqui
30 minutes are right here.
é de
but
boa, mas só que é uma descida. Aqui onde ela se
let's go
afogou,
over
gente,
to John, guys.
é uma descida. Pra você ver aqui, ó. Onde ó, o tanto que eu
Look
passei
at how
aqui,
far I've already
aqui dá
come.
mais ou menos uns 2,5 metros. Ó,
0.5
e quanto mais você
meters.
anda,
Further you walk,
ó a diferença aqui já onde eu estou agora, ó.
City.
Então, pessoal, e ainda tem a correnteza. Eu já, aqui já, olha, ó, um passinho para frente, a água já está praticamente me cobrindo. Então, o risco aqui é muito grande, é muito grande.
However, nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to encounter just seconds later.
Ó a fundura aqui.
Oh, look at how deep it is right here. They just jumped the water.
Eu acho que um negócio
I think there was
aqui no fundo
something
da
down
água.
at the bottom of the water. Talking to the cameraman, maybe?
Não, era mole.
It was soft. That's why I don't be swimming in rivers and shit. Could it be
Não era
her?
não.
While trying
I
to
don't be swimming
demonstrate
in
the
shit
river's
at all.
deceptive
Like, even the
drop-off,
ocean, I feel
Lineal
like
Do
too far in the
accidentally
ocean.
stepped on something lying on the riverbed. It
I
was too
couldn't do it.
soft and organic feeling to be a rock or a
That's why I was
submerged
always
log,
by the
which
shore and
caught him
shit.
off guard. The murky water made it impossible to see beneath the surface. But Lineal Do was starting to realize what it could be, leaving him too disturbed to go back and investigate further. He got out of the water and
Yeah,
contacted
call the
authorities
police, yeah.
immediately. And it wasn't long before divers recovered the remains of Raíssa from that exact spot. Later,
Damn.
the autopsy report confirmed that there was no foul play involved. What happened to
Did
her
she
was
drown?
nothing more than a tragic accident.
Wait. Okay. Well, I'll repeat her
On
person.
September 25, 2025, the CBS 6 station in Albany, New York received
September
a strange
25,
email with the
wait, that's Christmas.
2025.
Isn't that Christmas?
On September 25,
September.
2025, the CBS
Oh, that
6
is the
station in
7th,
Albany, New York received a strange email with a 2-page document.
I'm not
It
reading.
contained a nearly incomprehensible rant featuring Arnold Schwarzenegger, archaic
Yes.
centuries-old laws, and a proposal to create a board of trustees with prosecutorial immunity. However, the most important aspect of this document wasn't its content. Instead, the reason it stood out among the hundreds of emails the channel received every day was its author, 53-year-old Lawrence Krauss, who also included a selfie alongside the document. You see, Lawrence was currently under investigation for ending the lives of his own parents and getting away with it for over 8
That's
years.
crazy how people really do that to their own family that brought them in the world.
It happened in August 2017.
Well, half.
His 86
I look at it as half because for me, your mom and your dad, and then God. But God is the reason why you're here. So it's really God. But still,
father and 83-year-old
That's just who
mother
you
were
wanted to
living out
take
their
care of,
retirement
I
in their home
but still,
in
like,
Crestwood Court in Albany, New York.
why would you do that,
And
bro?
suddenly they were gone without a trace. None of the neighbors saw them leaving or heard anything about where they were going. Their house was also left abandoned, with Lawrence only visiting it occasionally to collect mail, mow the lawn, and clear the snow. When asked about his parents, he claimed that they had moved back to Germany and won't be coming back. The neighbors had
So
no
why are
reason
you
to
cleaning up
distrust
the yard?
Lawrence, so no one questioned their absence and life went on as usual. A distant relative even requested a welfare check in 2020. But the neighbors repeated the same explanation Lawrence had given, ending the officer's questioning without any further suspicion. It wasn't until mid-2025 that the Albany police became aware of something shady going on with the Krause family. Someone had been collecting Lawrence's parents' social security payments, even though the two hadn't been seen in years. This resulted in the police launching a formal investigation, and after months, finally executing a search warrant at the Krause home on September 23rd.
I don't know why
Within
people
48
do that,
hours,
bro.
detectives
Like, why
collected
steal?
thousands of financial documents and other
Especially from,
evidence.
like,
More
elderly people
importantly,
too, bro.
they discovered the remains of Lawrence's parents buried in the
The
backyard.
remains?
Lawrence likely knew that he was the prime suspect in this case. But instead of turning himself in or trying to run away, he made the unusual decision of sending this document to the local news network alongside his contact information. One of the directors at CBS 6 was familiar with the Krause case and immediately jumped at the opportunity to interview Lawrence. After giving him a call, Lawrence claimed that he was willing to do a live interview with the channel only if they published his document on the internet for everyone to see. The network agreed, and less than an hour later, Lawrence was sitting with a CBS 6
They got no
reporter for a
stocks
live
on?
interview. Lawrence was
Bro,
a bit
they didn't
hesitant at first.
tell him?
But after some pressure, he cracked and
They ain't go
confessed
to the
everything.
police?
I want to hear from you.
Yeah.
What did you do to your parents?
I buried them in their property.
You buried them in the backyard of that house.
Niggas sound so chill. Like shit's
When
just
it
normal.
actually happened, when your parents died, did they know what was happening to them?
Oh, yeah.
And they knew it was
What
at
type
your
of question
hands?
was that?
But yes, no one else's.
Right. So they realized what you were doing to them as it happened.
Yes,
They knew that this was it for them, that they were perishing at your hand.
yes. And it was,
Bro sounds way too calm, bro. This shit, he did this shit
How did you
before.
do it?
yeah, I can't talk about that.
Well, you've just
Nah, nigga, that's what I'm saying, bro. You might as well just...
Were
Go ahead and do
drugs
what you do.
involved?
No,
Was
no.
there a suffocation? Was there? You suffocated them. You suffocated your parents.
Yeah.
What made this
I ain't gonna
confession
lie,
so
nigga.
disturbing,
This shit is
however,
embarrassing.
was the way Lorenz tried to portray it as something
Like, he just thinks
righteous.
this is
His
normal.
argument essentially boiled down to, my parents were suffering from old age, so I did them a favor.
Bro, no.
Even though the neighbors described the couple
That's not
as
how that
elderly, they were by no means sick or bedridden.
Like, what does that even mean? They're miserable, so you just take them, like, what? How do you determine it, though? Like, you
They
can't
had
just
normal
say, oh, yeah, they're
routines
miserable,
where
I'm
they
just gonna
tended to their
just
garden,
kill them.
shared
Just
minleaves
because.
with neighbors' kids, and listened to
That doesn't
Polish
make
music
sense.
every day. Their lives weren't nearly as miserable as Lorenz tried to portray during this interview.
That's what I'm saying. It's probably his life that was miserable, and he wanted to use their money because he didn't have no money. Feel me? Or something. You have to be jealous. I don't know, bro. I don't see why you would kill your parents, but bro, especially if they're elderly too. Like, what could they possibly have done to you at that point?
Now, it's
Like, you look like a grown man. You probably have your own house and stuff. So, like, what was the point of
if
that?
he's severely mentally ill and genuinely believed everything he was saying, or if this interview was his way of trying to paint himself as the concerned son to earn the public's favor before his inevitable arrest. In either case,
Concerned.
he had no way of escaping the consequences of his heartless actions. He was arrested immediately after walking out of the
As I
network's
said.
building and is currently awaiting trial for the
At
death
that point, you could have just went. See, niggas could have just went to the police station and said, just arrest me at that point.
of his parents.
Because, I mean, it's obvious you're going to get arrested after this if you do this on live TV, bro. Niggas is outside as soon as you walk out the door. That's what I was going to say, too.
2023,
It's a hockey game?
the Utilita Arena in
I gotta
Sheffield
start watching the hockey tomorrow. I'm gonna watch the
over
hockey tomorrow
8,000
again.
spectators.
I gotta start watching
They
hockey.
were there to watch the ice hockey
I only watched
match
one hockey
between the
video.
Nottingham Panthers and the Sheffield Steelers.
But it's just
The
so
whole
many
thing was
sports
also
to
being
watch, bro.
broadcast live on TV for fans across the world. And the match
What's
started
going on?
off completely normal. The first period ended without either team scoring a point.
Then they
About
got
35 minutes later, the score
Hockey
was
kinda,
4-2 in
like,
favor of the Sheffield
entertaining, though.
Steelers. The Panthers needed to score soon if they wanted to make a comeback. So, one of their more renowned players, Adam Johnson, got a hold of the puck and started pushing into the Steelers' defensive zone.
Okay.
But before he could reach the goal,
I'm kinda
the match
scared.
got interrupted by one of the most tragic incidents in ice hockey history. As
What
Adam
happened?
was making his way to the goal, a different player of his team bumped into Matt Petgrave of the Steelers. This resulted in Matt getting launched in the air and slicing Adam's neck with one of his skates.
Oh!
For those who don't know, professional hockey skates are sharpened to a razor's edge. So it took very little force to leave a deep laceration across Adam's neck, causing him to bleed profusely in front of both the
Damn.
live crowd and the TV audience.
And it's
Medics
like
at the
kids
arena
here,
tried
too.
to stop the bleeding, but the cut was too deep. He had already lost a lot of blood on the ice. Adam was
Damn.
then rushed to a nearby hospital. Unfortunately, despite going into surgery as quickly as possible, Adam couldn't survive the injury and passed
RP to him.
away just
Rest his
hours
family.
later. Matt was arrested shortly after on suspicion
He got
that he had
arrested?
cut Adam on purpose. However, investigators
They didn't
found
do
no
it on
foul
purpose.
play in Adam's
Yeah, I
death
ain't-
and ultimately ruled it
That's
a
not
tragic
what they
accident.
did.
The only silver lining in this entire
Damn.
case is that it resulted in the English Ice Hockey Association making neck guards mandatory for all players, something that would have likely prevented this from happening altogether.
That's what I was saying, though, but, like, I don't feel like that's fair that they wait till someone passes away to do stuff like this. To take precautions.
But at the
And
time,
they just think, oh, man, it'll be alright as long as it doesn't happen. And then when it happens, they want to take precautions and make all these memory stuff. You feel me?
wearing this protective gear was only a suggestion.
Suggestion? RP to him, the first was
On the
film.
evening of September 2, 2011,
I never even heard of that.
TVN, one of the biggest networks in Chile, was airing the latest episode of a show called Calle 7. It was a live game show where teams competed in various challenges to make their way to the top, and this weekend's episode was supposed to be no different. But things took a disturbing turn about halfway through the episode when the show's host interrupted the competitors seemingly out of nowhere and told them to stop.
We saw like I'm just showing the style of please. Okay, so Spanish, I think. We should see some information that's ready to share. What we done, we want to say anything before closing checking what was up. Because there was people from the channel, people carry people about, the team from the channel,
Felipe Camiroaga y Bruce, Roberto Bruce, que también estaba
okay. We was on a
en aquel
flight
vuelo
on
a la
Hernandez
isla de Juan Fernández.
to Hernandez Island, and as I
que nos
understand
estaba
the official
llegando en
receiving
este
right
momento.
now,
El Ministerio
and
de
the
Defensa
Ministry of Defense report
informó
this afternoon.
esta tarde el presidente de la República
President
que un
of the
equipo de
Republic
TVN
stated that the TVN News
iba al borde de una nave
was
de la Fuerza
aboard
Aérea de
Chilean
Chile
Air
que
Force
capotó en el
aircraft,
archipiélago de
which
Juan
was involved in
Fernández.
the crash.
However, the reason for this interruption had nothing to do with the show itself.
Hernandez.
The host was talking about the C-212 Chilean Air Force plane that departed from the Arturo Merino Benitez
Wait, Air
International
Force?
Airport earlier that day at around 2 p.m. It was headed for the Robinson
What they about to
Crusoe
do?
Airport, located hundreds of miles off the coast of Chile. Aboard was a full TV crew from the network, including the two renowned presenters, Felipe Camiroaga and Roberto Bruce. They were visiting Robinson Crusoe Island to report on the reconstruction after the 2010 earthquake. The flight started without a hitch. Unfortunately, as they were approaching the runway, the wind became extremely strong, making it impossible to land. The pilot tried to land a couple of times, circling in the air after each attempt. However, on the third attempt, witnesses saw the plane lose altitude much faster than expected and crash into the ocean just a mile from the island. By the time rescuers reached the crash site, it was already too late. All 21 people aboard the C-212 plane had passed away. But while investigators initially believed that all of those deaths were due to the impact of the crash, the reality turned out to be far darker. As they were searching the wreckage, they found footage that one of the cameramen took of the interior shortly before the crash. The footage showed the passengers strapped into their seats, completely unaware of their fate. But the more haunting discovery happened when investigators found an SD card inside an empty water bottle floating near the crash site. This card contained hundreds of images. However, analysis of these images showed that 2 of them were taken after the crash, including one of the plane's windows covered in water. These images put the crash into a whole new perspective. They showed that several passengers, including the cameraman who took these photos and preserved the SD card in the bottle, likely survived the initial crash. Sadly, they were trapped inside a rapidly sinking plane with no way out, forced to watch their aircraft fill up with water until there was no air left to breathe.
Yeah, I don't think there's an emergency exit, is there, for a plane?
Niagara Falls is widely regarded as one of the world's most breathtaking natural wonders.
Yeah,
However, while the surface is undeniably beautiful, the depths beneath the falls hide the disturbing history of many who lost their lives to the currents. One such incident was captured live on TV on May 30, 1985, when reporter Phil Kavitz was hosting a section about real estate in front of the falls. Suddenly, in the background,
it's right here. Yeah, I see it.
a man caught in the current behind Phil. The rushing water carried him to the edge of the falls before throwing him over the 170-foot drop. And while a lucky few have survived the fall, Kavitz was hosting a section about real estate in front of the falls. Suddenly, in the background,
I think he was already in there.
A man caught in the current behind Phil. The rushing water carried him to the edge of the falls before
Damn, man, the edge right here.
170-foot drop. And while a lucky few have survived the fall from the Niagara Falls, he was
that's God right there.
The treacherous terrain under the falls also made it difficult to retrieve his remains. Once recovered, investigators identified the man as 56-year-old Robert Arens and concluded that the act was deliberate. However, Robert was only one of the 5,000 bodies that have been recovered from the foot of the falls in the last 175 years. Many of these 5,000 deaths were
like a lot of people survived from
but there were
RP didn't break this film.
a lot
I'll get your mental right
that weren't. And unfortunately, surviving a fall from Niagara
Falls
Falls
on purpose,
is near impossible. Once you fall in, the cold water makes it extremely difficult to breathe, making it even more challenging to swim to the surface. The water near the edge can also move at over 60
like, couldn't he,
miles
like, get
per
off that
hour,
side?
adding another layer of difficulty to an already impossible challenge. By the jagged hour, adding another swim to the surface. The water near the edge can also move at over 60 miles per hour, adding another layer of difficulty to an already impossible challenge. By the jagged rocks at the base of the falls is what marks the end for most people.
I wonder how they survived it. Like, I know it's from God, but like
On
how,
the
like
23rd of
what they
August
do.
2010 at around 10
different.
a.m., 21 tourists from Hong Kong returned to their tour
Especially if
bus after
there's like
visiting the historic
rocks at the
Fort
bottom.
Santiago in Manila,
How do you survive
Philippines.
that?
They were also accompanied by 3 Filipino tour guides, and the trip had been
Huh?
going fantastic so far. But just as they were about to set out to the next location, they got interrupted by a middle-aged man in a police uniform. He was openly
Oh.
carrying multiple firearms, and his demeanor made it clear he wasn't afraid to use them either.
Hey,
Something that became
police?
even more apparent as time went on. For now, things started off
Ugh.
fairly quiet. He was sent out to the next guides, and the trip had been going fantastic so far. But just as they were about to send out to the next location, they got interrupted by a middle-aged man in a police uniform. He was
Oh,
openly carrying
he's
multiple
out rough police.
firearms, and his demeanor made it clear he wasn't afraid to use them either.
I don't think.
Something that became even more apparent as time went on. For now, things started off fairly calm, with him asking the driver for a ride to the next station. The bus driver tried to reject the request respectfully, explaining that he couldn't let him on because it was a private vehicle, not a public bus. However, the man wasn't having any of it. As soon as the bus driver rejected his request, he equipped one of his firearms and claimed that he was taking the bus hostage. This was 55-year-old Rolando Mendoza, a police officer with nearly 30 years of service.
He's a police officer?
But he'd recently been fired over drug charges that Rolando claimed were untrue.
That's like I was saying, bro. People be buying drugs because they can't cope with life and where they're at, and then they end up ruining their life.
Left him with no pension after 3 decades of hard work. And while he tried to fight
he
for
didn't
his
get
job
his.
through official means, his superiors wouldn't listen. In an act of desperation and defiance, Rolando took this bus full of tourists hostage
where's he gonna
and
go?
presented a single demand.
Oh,
He
he's
wanted his
a
job
bounty?
back. The situation
bounty.
so far looked fairly
Uh,
manageable, with 2 of his former colleagues establishing
ransom?
communications without any
I think so.
pushback. They were even able to convince him to release a few of the hostages, granting his relatively simple demand would
that's
have been
it?
easy. But what followed was one of the biggest hostage disasters in the country's history, all because those in charge couldn't agree on the next move. Things started going downhill when Rolando's brother tried to approach the bus and was immediately detained by the officers. This made the already furious Rolando even angrier and more unstable. The situation only got worse once the media got involved. Nearly every news channel in the country started broadcasting the situation live. They
Damn.
talked about everything, including the plans officials were making outside. What they didn't know, however, was that the bus had a working TV and Rolando was watching and listening in
Retail start after 3 p.m.
on everything. This
He
could have
was
helped
watching
him
it on
formulate
TV?
a plan and get what he wanted without hurting anyone. Unfortunately, the lackluster response from the
Media
officials
now, 9 p.m.
made a peaceful
Deadlock?
resolution near impossible.
To pay?
His anger reached a boiling point when he saw how his brother was being treated by the police on live TV. This resulted in
There it is.
Rolando getting blinded by rage and opening fire on the hostages. Around
Damn.
the same time, the bus driver managed to free himself from the handcuffs Rolando put him in and escape through the driver's side door. Unfortunately, while he was able to remain unharmed, other hostages weren't as lucky. Since,
Damn.
according to the bus driver, they were all dead, leaving Rolando
All of
alone in the
them?
bus. This revelation gave authorities the go-ahead to surround the bus and try to break in without any more casualties. But Rolando wasn't willing to go down without a fight. As soon as they tried to
Bro,
enter
all
through
for
the
some
emergency
money, bro?
exit, Rolando opened fire, hitting one officer on his bulletproof helmet and barely missing the others. So the officers thought of a different strategy.
Bulletproof
They
helmet?
flooded the back of the bus with tear gas, forcing him to the front, right into the crosshairs of a sniper, finally
Damn.
ending the hostage crisis. It wasn't until after his death that police realized the bus driver had misunderstood the situation and that 9 of the hostages were still alive. The massive
Oh.
loss of innocent lives broadcast live for
So
the
did they
world to
die?
see, coupled with officials making wrong decisions at every turn, drew intense global scrutiny, marking this as one of the worst
Damn.
and most tragic incidents in Filipino history.
So did they like some? I thought they survived though, didn't they? I mean, that still was probably like scary though, because they throwing tear gas and shit, and then like probably heard the sniper bullet, and then other people died too, around them and shit. But yeah, just stop doing stuff like crazy stuff, bro. I mean, for money, bro. You don't get your money, bro. You be calm, but you don't get your bread, bro. Just how they got about that. But I ain't gonna lie. This is the last video today. You know, I posted early today, got work. Then I can't wait to make a living off this YouTube shit. But hey, let's do a prayer though. Lord, just help us all stay safe. Just help us be able to make good decisions. And just pray to all the people that are in this video. And just everybody that's struggling in the world. Help them be able to just keep focusing on you and just knowing you have a plan for them. And just no matter what they do, never lose sight of you, never forget where they came from, never forget how much you carried them through. We live there with nothing without you. We're trusting your time to chase our dreams. God for me, you too. But we're watching so we chase our dreams. It's help us always stay safe and healthy. Our future wife be able to, wife or husband, be able to have a great day, be able to meet us when the time is right, and just everybody around us be able to, we be able to take care of them, be a chosen child in our family, and have our families around the world forever again. And just help everybody in need. We love you without you. So many love you. So I love y'all, man. Jesus, y'all. More videos tomorrow. Yeah, stay safe.